All right, we're going to test that again. All right, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Test. All right, we're going to test that again. Oh, shit. All right, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. That shit's loud. All right. See what we got in the news today. I have absolutely no idea what this means. A transgender passport, that makes no sense to me. All right, so in Thailand, in opposite of the United States, they have more freedom to show what gender they want. In the United States, they've decided that your passport has to show your biological sex or gender. Yeah, that doesn't really affect me, so we're gonna see what's next. All right, food stamps. I'm not on those, but a lot of people near me are. I ain't paying for this. Yeah, these SNAP benefits. All right, so I always find federal judges kind of weird because here in they said Rhode Island of all places, you can only imagine how many people. What up, Marquis? Welcome to the chat. Anyway, so you can only imagine how many of the people coming by here are from Rhode Island, but a federal judge has a lot of power to do something like this. Uh, so they have ordered the new reinstatement of SNAP payments. Government's been shut down for like 32 days. See what else we got. We got actors banging. I'm not too interested in that. Oh, here's something crazy. So here's a teacher that was shot by a 6-year-old and won $10 million in a verdict against the ex-assistant principal. What in the heck? Let's see what that's about. All right, so Newport News and a jury in Virginia awarded them $10 million to a former teacher who was shot by a 6-year-old student. So she was shot in January 23, which was more than 2 years ago, or yeah, 2 years ago by now. And she was reading to her first grade classroom and originally sought 40 million. So that's a decrease from 40 to 10. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks, required 6 surgeries, and cannot use her left hand. She's lucky to be alive because the bullet missed her heart. I am not going to subscribe to AP. Ugh. All right, so I'm not sure how many guys here are familiar with like this duty to protect thing. Like basically, if you're on a premises, they can't be negligible. So like when the floor is wet and they have to put up those the floor is wet signs. Basically, they have to do everything they can do to make sure people on their premises are safe. There's different kinds of negligence, but this one saying the duty to protect was failed on being told about the gun on the premises. So I guess they already knew. And then a 6-year-old brought it to the school, and accidentally shot the teacher. All right, Antonio Brown. What's going on with Antonio Brown? All right, Buccaneers. They've been searching for him for 4.5 months, and he was accused of opening fire into the crowd in Miami. The police spokesperson for the Miami police agency said that he was apprehended, but didn't want to say where or when. All right, so that's just custody. There's been no ruling. There's been no decision. In the United States, you're innocent until proven guilty. So they caught him after 4.5 months worth of hiding. Let's see what's going on in the world today. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, so there's a typhoon in the Philippines, and as of this reporting 32 minutes ago, 114 people died. I've seen the other one in the news already. There's a yeah. Yeah, okay. So the president was assaulted. They call it a sexual assault because private parts were touched, although she was fully clothed. But it has sparked public outrage because that's the highest official in the entire nation. And for this individual to be touched in a public setting just kind of says a lot about the state of things. So. All right, Bolivia's ex-president free from prison. They had a crackdown on protesters a while back, so she's out and about again. Israel's still doing their strikes. They've hit Lebanon. That's been ongoing. All right, so this is an interesting one to me. So here the leader of Hungary is seeking help from President Trump. So I don't know if you guys have seen, there was a Venezuelan lady that got the Nobel Peace Prize. That's what it was. And on her speech, she actually thanked Trump and, said like basically he should be there. And then just after that, he went to South Korea and was given an award for working on the peace negotiations between the North and the South, and which a lot of presidents in the past have not. And then you see here that Hungary is now seeking blessing from the president. Well, this is not as positive. This one, he's trying to buy oil, which has been, since it's coming from Russia and they have the Ukraine situation going on, there's been some issues with that part. But my point more so is that outside of the United States, he's not viewed as negatively as he is here, despite all the weird tariff stuff going on. What else we got? So, the Pope met with the Palestinian president. That's not surprising. He goes out, he does humanitarian stuff, he gives his blessing. U.S. and Palestinian diplomats meeting at UN for a Gaza resolution. You can see the same individual. That's the president of the Palestinian delegation. All right, this one's kind of cool. So Roman history is still under the earth for the most part. If you go in a lot of really old countries, old villages, and old areas, a lot of people like, I believe in the news a while ago, there was an individual from Turkey that went into his basement and uncovered this ancient and old area. ARGMT, welcome to the chat. 67 to you too, buddy. Anyway, so for me to see these kind of things, it's really interesting that today we're still able to uncover a lot of history that we just have not found yet. So they got the map up here, and largely it's just roads. You know, I'm not going to read you guys a whole history article though, but I just thought that was pretty cool that they had this map that had 300,000 kilometers of Roman roads. So today, when you go to a lot of areas and you're still seeing these roads on the ground, I just think that's absolutely amazing. All right, so I think everyone remembers the Louvre was ransacked not too long ago. There's been a few hits on museums over recent times. I believe one in California as well. So here's an article with the CCTV password. I'm going to bet it says password, right? It's making me scroll and find out. But we have a trick up our sleeve. We have the find. Oh, all right. So here was the password to the CCTVs in the Paris Louvre. It's Louvre, Louvre. That is the password. All right, got some more Gaza articles. We have more Gaza articles. All right, so I don't know who has not seen this one yet. Prince Andrew is a horrific guy. Yeah, he's a child abuser. He's just all sorts of insane things. He's part of those Epstein lists, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And finally, the royal family decided we're going to get rid of his title. Okay, so I've already seen this. I already know this whole article. That's all they're doing. They're just getting rid of his title, which is basically just like a slap on the wrist. Like, you did horrific, awful stuff, and the only punishment you get is you're still a CEO, but we're not going to call you a CEO. All right. There's been bear attacks in Japan. This is a little nothing burger of an article. What up, Andrew? Welcome to the chat. So anyways, there's been bear attacks in Japan. Here in the United States, we get them all over if you're in the right area. California's got a bear on their state flag, right? And when I was in Virginia, they have those mountain ranges that go across there. So here in the United States, it's not really much of a news article, but not a lot really goes on in Japan. So they're just talking about how they're using their military force to stop bear attacks. And if you guys didn't know, Japan does not have how we do, like a very offensive military. They have this self-defense force, so they're largely a defensive force. So not surprising they're using it for bear attacks. All right, so more trade negotiations. We got some rooters. See what we got here. All right, so if you guys have not been following the news a while back, so how gas and oil largely has been the dollar since, you know, these commissions, these international committees have been formed. They've all been trading dollars on oil and gas internationally. And China just recently was convincing people to switch to the yuan, the Chinese yuan. And I believe the Saudis accepted it. So now they're kind of going in and are like, oh, we don't want to lose our power over this. This is one of the few things the United States has had for a long time. And so, so now that's where they're starting to bring a lot of Asian nations to the table, so that Russia and China do not get that leverage. So Kazakhstan, they signed this minerals agreement. There's an agreement for Boeing with airplanes to Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. And yeah, that's good news. All right, so this article here, I can explain that without even needing to check it out. All right, so if you guys did not know, the United States, I believe Russia and China and a bunch of other nations are consistently on these boat rotations around the ocean. They're always kind of not posturing, but the United States does it, training with other nations, being prepared for just anything that could happen. For example, when the Iraq War first started off, they had that UDP is what it was called with the Marine Corps, and that boat would just land right where they need it to be. So this article is just talking about how some of these boats that the United States has deployed are just kind of chasing Chinese vessels. Basically, both sides just trying to, for lack of a better way of saying it, trying to see what the other one's going to do, which is nothing. Cameroon's got the same president. He's been reelected for the eighth time. Mass burials in Sudan. Let's see what kind of massacre is going on in Sudan. If you guys didn't know, a lot of these developing countries need a lot of assistance, need a lot of help developing and making sure things are going on track. So in this satellite imaging, they've found evidence that there's been mass burials, which is just tragic. So they're saying that a drone strike targeted a funeral in another city and killed at least 40 people. So in an instant, 40 people. I mean, if you could just imagine a room full of all your friends and count them one by one. For a lot of us, if it's a close friend, it's probably less than 40, right? So they have another down here there's a Saudi hospital in the area where 460 people have been killed. So we're looking at another one of these kind of incidents that are localized but gain national attention. I'm not sure if you guys remember Coney. That was a huge thing. That guy hiding out in the Congo jungles. All right, so NATO has overtaken Russia in ammunition production. Good news. All right. So, a Russian soldier was sentenced to prison in Ukraine. This is a little unusual because when we see troops that are doing stuff, they have a different code to follow than normal people because it's a hostile conflict. Not necessarily good versus bad, but as much as you understand there's two forces fighting, so they don't go through normal civilian procedures like you or me. They're expected to be fighting back and forth. All right, so what happened is that a Ukrainian soldier had surrendered and the Russian troop had shot him down anyway. And that, my friends, is a war crime. And apparently it was. They had expert reports, witness testimony, and footage from this happening where he killed a prisoner of war that had already surrendered. All right, so another big one in the news. So there's these Chinese astronauts that are outside the orbit right now, and there's space debris, and they're not sure when these guys are going to be able to come back down safely. So these individuals are still in orbit. All right. What in the heck are the Abraham Accords? Kazakhstan is joining these. As we read in an earlier article, they've already agreed on buying airplanes from Boeing and a whole bunch of good stuff. They're getting more cozy and friendly with the United States. Yeah, nothing burger article. So if you read here, and we're going to focus on why this is a nothing burger. So that accord is largely between Israel and their conflict going on, which there's virtually nothing going on between them and Kazakhstan. So that's just trying to get friendly with the United States. I don't care about that. All right, so here's an interesting one. Hamas is not necessarily just in one place. It's just an organization with international connections. It can pop up anywhere. And they had recently found in Vienna, under the operations of the Austrian intelligence service, not the Australian, of course, a weapons cache. And so here we have a British citizen. It's a 39-year-old man, and it always surprises me that you can manage to live this long, almost 4 decades, and still do something absolutely stupid. So this individual was directly connected with the cache, and yep, they were attacking either Israeli or Jewish institutions throughout Europe. So it was a staging point for these weapons that they had uncovered. And thankfully, it was found. If we scroll down, they had pistols, ammunition, and all sorts of fun stuff. All right, Germany. So if you guys don't know, in Germany, there are a lot of laws against. You can't even name your son Adolf anymore. I mean, it's a huge deal for any kind of Nazi-related anything, pretty much. So that's why this is an article that graffiti. Because in the United States, if we look at graffiti, we're going to go, why in the heck is this in the news, right? But in Germany, yes, this is a big deal. They had swastikas, and they're painted in human blood across one of their cities, and they're under investigation. They've detained one individual. It's been on cars. It's been on walls. Yeah. All right, Tanzania got some violence in Tanzania after their elections. So here in the United States, we're pretty fortunate. November 4, at least here, we had the local elections, and nothing really happened. You just go out, you vote, and whether it goes your way or it doesn't, we just kind of move on. But for a lot of nations, as you can see imaging here, yeah, no, that is extremely violent. So they've been cleaning up. They said hundreds, and I would have to wait for that to be confirmed. But hundreds of demonstrators that were killed because the incumbent won by way more numbers than actually exists. So yeah, that's definitely a way to make people upset, is when you're holding on to power, and you should obviously let go. So, gotta wish them best of luck. That sucks. What else we got? Afghanistan growing more opium. They've been growing opium for a long time. I was over there in 2014. I was there in 2018. At the end of it, we weren't even told to burn the piles anymore, that they were allowed to cultivate it. And this report is showing that on their own accord, by their own selves, that the crop is being harvested less and less. So that's good news. All right, attackers board a ship off the coast of Somalia after firing rocket-propelled grenades, which you guys may know as RPGs. Somalia has been dangerous since the 90s. I don't think they're ever going to be able to clean that up. Yeah, they got machine guns, rockets, and are attacking a gasoline tanker. If you guys did not know, a lot of modern ship freight has private security on board, so they actually pay what are pretty much just mercenaries to protect the cargo. Um, yeah, not much to say about that. So when we were seeing back that Sudan was having mass graves and whatnot, what they failed to note, and they decided to split into a different article, is that they've had a record of famine in Sudan, so a lot of people are starving to death. Yeah. Israeli hostages, just talking about their experience. Guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna enjoy some nice dinner. It's been interesting. It's been fun. It's been everything. And I appreciate all of you. I'm gonna wait for the delay so you guys know I'm leaving. And then I'm gonna call it a good day. I'll see you guys later.